Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dorks Are Dangerous, Chronicle 2, Session 2.5. We are joined by the fantastic cast for this Chronicle. We have Kirsty, Kaylee, Dave, and Johnny, and their respective characters are Vesper, Nina, Lucian, and Boris. So we left
Don't
off.
forget about yourself, Bruce, the
Oh, of
DM.
course, and I'm Bruce. I'm your DM. Hopefully, you enjoy what we do here. Last we left our wonderful adventurers. They were on the deck of the ship. They had been working through the week of events with the crew, learning their stations, learning various tasks and skills, and at the end of the session, they had some interactions, some curious interactions with Mr. Parrish and our wonderful trio of Spivey, Dirk, and Rise. Memory serves, there was something climbing up the side of the ship, and that's where we left off.
Boy, oh boy.
So, in retrospect, I believe you guys wanted to do a little bit of research in your weekish time that has passed. So we're going to do a pause on our potential combat situation and rewind just a little bit and give you time to investigate and ask a few more questions.
Perfect. Nina will have told Lucian and Vesper about a box she's trying to find. She would describe it to them as it's about, you said it's about a foot long or so, I believe, Bruce. And it's got a broken edge and there's something silver on the inside. It's just nondescript and small, but that's what she's looking for about that size. And she would ask him to come down to the hold with her to help her investigate and see if it's down there.
That particular crate you're looking for is it's kind of it's about a foot and a half long, about a foot wide, and about maybe 10 to 12 inches high. So it's not real big. Has handles on either side. The lid, when you saw it, was slightly ajar. It's a light brown wood pine type box, but the lid was slightly ajar, and a flash of silver caught your eye.
That is much more descriptive than I thought it was. Okay. Probably not down the hole, but I still want to check just to make sure.
Well, you had checked the middle deck.
Right. I want to go down to the hold to see if I can find it down there.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Lucian,
and definitely Lucian would be along for that journey.
Yeah, Lucian, this is what we're looking for. If you could help me find it, that'd be great.
Sure. I think we've asked around about the crate as well, so I mean, there's no concept that this is a sneaky thing for Lucian. He's just like outright just looking around pretty brazenly, I think. Like, I don't think we're necessarily trying to be sneaky about it.
Yeah, well, as I described before, you've been around the crew. You're part of the crew. You see crew mulling around, checking on the straps and the tie downs and everything that's keeping, and the cargo netting, literally keeping things in place. So you wandering about things, checking them out, is pretty normal. Parallel track, before we get too far into this, Boris, what are you up to?
Nothing really. Just
not curious what these guys are doing. You're just kind of chilling out.
Nope, because if they get thrown off the ship, that's better for me. So this is one of the few times that Boris is probably on his best behavior and hoping that these ding-dongs screw up before he does.
Fair.
Because it's only a matter of time before he screws up. So...
you know what, Johnny? That's a really good point. That's a really good point. You got to remember, anybody listening, is that it's really challenging to play one of these a more negative, twisted character. So it's hard to bring that facet out of yourself when it's not a normal facet that you like to put forth in society, right? So kudos to you again on that. And so a little bit of insight into Boris's character, that he be so accustomed to screwing up, he already knows he's gonna.
Like, it's only a matter of time before I do something or I fight somebody that wasn't wanting to fight.
Right.
So for now, like, I'll just lay it back in the hammock that's been set up for me, and I'll watch these guys like mutter to themselves and like their secret mean girl click, and then wander off, and then just let them go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, with searching the box, I will say that Nina's specifically been saying I've seen a damaged box that looks like what you've described, meaning she saw like a corner of it chipped and like broken possibly, so she wants to mend it because she's been going around like mending sails, mending equipment, whatever the crew needs. Maybe not. She's lying.
Good front. I like it.
So she's been saying, like, I think it's damaged. I think I saw that the lid was open when it shouldn't have been. Maybe the hinge is broken. I want to see if I can fix this. So that's why she's been walking around asking.
Yeah, okay. I like it. Yeah, good. It's always good to have a story in place.
Especially since we know the captain's probably got all our details. Might as well cover some track.
I mean, the reality is you guys have been working with the crew. You haven't been doing anything mischievous or problematic, and other than poking at each other, which the first mate already pointed out. Keep it under control, and it's expected. Not everybody needs to get along. You just need to you don't have to be best of friends. You just have to make things work. So yeah, it makes that makes perfect sense.
Well, does Lucian want to roll as well, or does Lucian want to help me?
I'm going to say that Lucian is a follower, so he is just going to help you.
Perfect. All right. So would that be with advantage, Bruce?
Do you both have proficiency in investigation?
Sure do not.
I have a -1.
Let's see. I would assume Vesper
I have a
is
+1.
with you.
Yeah. Yes, she'd be.
She has a proficiency in investigation. She's simply AFK for the moment. She'll join us shortly. And so we'll have to Jaeger her character. So either she can, because like I said, she's actually proficient in the skill. It has a +2 in it.
I'll help her then.
Well, if you have proficiency, which you don't.
No.
So it's pretty much just... So before, you did just a straight investigation roll, which is what it is. But you know what we could do? You can't help her. Mm-hmm. But I would let her help you. Got it. So you're so kind of... I see this exactly as you described it. You are describing to... You're kind of frantically looking around for a box that you are describing to them, right? And so she's asking you, as she did in the previous session, she's asking you questions to kind of dig this out of your investigative mind. And her having this skill, she has the ability to more methodical approach to the investigation side of things. So she's asking you, trying to draw out your information of what it looks like, the size, anything you can remember about it, so that she knows exactly what she's looking for. So I would say that she could I will give you advantage on the roll. How's that?
Okay. That works for me, because I would picture Nina as, like, very in the moment, she's kind of scatterbrained, but if you give her time to, like, collect and think on the things that everyone's saying, yeah, that makes sense, do that. So,
normally I would say you have to have, and Johnny, I think you would agree, normally you have to have the proficiency in that skill to even try to get advantage, to be helped on it.
That's how I've always played it. I'm not 100% what the raw is, but it doesn't make sense to me that someone that knows nothing about, camping out in the woods can assist someone else in finding tracks.
Well, that's why I figured that since Vesper has proficiency in the skill, she's actually kind of the one doing most of the searching, but she's trying to draw the information out of Nina, so therefore the aid would go in that direction.
And it doesn't even matter, because I rolled at best a 7.
However, what do we have in what's your passive? Passive perception. So here's the thing. I'm going to say that you came down here and you did look. You tried. You failed on both these decks. But reality is you don't know if it's on this deck or if it's on another deck or even available.
Or with the captain or
Right.
with First May or
Right. However, there is somebody on board, in fact, a trio on board that may know. And we're going to say that you did go and talk to them over this week's period of time, and you used your wiles and your wits to approach them, Spivey and Dirk.
I hope
Right.
Vesper used her wiles because
why-
Nina has zilch.
That's why I said wiles and wits. So you're that includes your persuasive abilities or whatever it happens to be. So I would say that during the week, it might take a couple of days, but I would say that Dirk and crew, Dirk, Rise, and Spivey, happen to spot the crate you're looking for. And they tell you that it is on the middle deck, and it's kind of out in the open, being held in place by some cargo netting and straps and whatnot.
It's on the middle deck, held down by straps. By straps and netting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he just tells you this nonchalantly. So yeah, I think I saw that crate you were looking for. Yeah, I think I saw that crate you were looking for. It's on the middle deck there, kind of where the crew was, but it's been moved around. That's probably why you couldn't find it. Because we put the cargo on in such a hurry. Remember, we were trying to get out of the port really fast, so we put cargo everywhere, and so it's been moved around. So last I saw it was about I think it was this morning. Probably still there. You could probably find it, and so you do. So you are standing on the middle deck, staring directly at this box. There are middle of the day, and there are people around you, but you clearly see that's the box. However, the lid that was ajar has been fixed. It's been nailed back down.
Okay. Seeing that, after thanking Spivey and crew profusely for their help in locating it so I can go check on it and make sure it's actually fixed, I see it, and since it is the middle of the day, I'm not going to I'll get close and inspect it to make sure it actually is fixed, like what I've been intending to do. I'm going to leave it. And now that I've got a refresher of what this looks like and I know it's here, I'm going to leave it where it is for now.
All right. You have located
And I'm going to
the box.
I'm going to tell Lucia and Vesper that this is what I was looking for, so just remember that.
And you will note that it does have the sigil of Bluemore engraved on and stamped on the side. It's basically branded, wood burned into the side. As most of these, I would say, at least 3/4 of the crates here have the exact same sigil. As I declared before, most of this is going to them funding their way into joining the Neo Kingdom.
Got it. Okay. Good to note. Do I see anything that has a different crest on it, like perhaps a lord's crest that's on the ship? Just curious. Just a casual peruse.
Give me a D100.
73.
You do not see anything that has that you would perceive, anything that you remember from his room. You know that you're having a difficult time even recollecting what his sigil or stamp might be, right? So you see other things which you do notice there are at least a dozen other markers on these boxes.
Anything that stands out particularly, or they just kind of all blur to me at this moment?
You see one over there that it's got a crest of a falcon, right? Yeah, another one over there has a crest of like it looks like it could be something agriculturally or something like that. You ascertain one over there has got probably something to do with druids because of the tree shaping on it and whatnot. So there's there are a variety of stamps like that. You see one over there that's got a ship. In fact, it looks like it probably is the property of this crew. Could be anything, right? Could be food stores. Could be a cannonball. You don't know. I mean, it literally could be anything. And there's quite a few of those. You see one with kind of a looped rope, right, if you will. You see one that has a pair of crossed swords, and you see one, a larger one, with a picture of a griffin. That one there is probably about, probably 4x4x4, pretty good size. Probably a couple more like that.
Okay. Good to know. All right. I'm not gonna touch anything or take anything. I just want to take a quick peruse of what it all looks like here on the middle deck, and that's it for the investigation part. What I wanted.
Okay.
So, Nina, I've been meaning to ask a question.
Of course.
So, it's called the Neo Kingdom, yeah?
Yes, I'm familiar.
So, they have a king, right? It's in the name, right?
Well, as far as I knew, there wasn't an established monarchy for the whole of the kingdom, but maybe maybe they're new?
Yeah, if it was multiple, it'd be called a kingsdom, right? That's how plurals work?
Sure. Or like a territory or multiple territories. Anyway, yeah, I've never heard of the king, though, that Mr. Parrish referenced. Did you find anything out about that?
I have not, but I suppose would it be weird to go to Mr. Parrish and just ask who the king is, and if there were multiple kings, what happened to the rest of them?
I don't see why not. Since we're going to the kingdom, might as well know what we're getting into, I suppose.
Okay, and I suppose with that, Lucian will just simply walk right up to Mr. Parrish and say, "So, Mr. Parrish, how are you today?" I had a weird question. So, the Neo Kingdom, it's got a king, as in one king. Has that always been the case? I've not really been there before. I don't know too much about it. Could you explain a little?
Well, let's see. From what I know, there's a lot of back and forth, if you will. There seems to be various kingdoms and questionable heirs that are laying claim to some sort of leadership and dominion overall. Of course, there's back and forth to it, and it's a pretty touchy if and here and there and negotiations. But the one in charge, or proclaimed to be in charge, he seems to be having the backing of most of the realms around him, if you will, is something Galore. Jean Val Galore, I think, is his name.
Okay, so now you say realms. Do these realms that sort of are agreeing to this, do they have kings? And if so, does that make them kingdoms?
Well, see, that's just it. That's the whole thing. I think it's still being established, because times they are changing. And so right now, it's up for debate. And so we're as Bluemore is putting its best foot forward, because this Val Galore guy, he seems to be gathering some pretty good strength in numbers. Seems to have the backing of some of the realms or kingdoms, or however you want to define them.
Gotcha. So Bluemore is sort of like backing what they think is going to be the winning horse.
And that's
Okay,
where we come
okay.
in, right? So, although we have our cargo, it isn't necessarily known what we have by others.
I see. Now, as far as Bluemore goes, honestly, I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. Most of it was just hanging out in the library. Does Bluemore have a king?
Bluemore has more of a mayor, if you will, a duke, or I think it's a duke himself, or a mayor. Again, mostly self-proclaimed, and so long as he does a good job, I suppose that everyone is behind him.
Fascinating. Would you say that's somewhat akin to a democracy or more of a dictatorship?
All I know is that he's in charge.
Simple enough. Thank you, Mr. Parrish, for your time.
My pleasure.
Mr. Parrish, I'm so sorry. I couldn't help but overhear.
Oh,
I've heard rumors in the New Kingdom of a bandit god king. This isn't the same fellow, is it, that's proclaiming to be the king?
Now, wouldn't that be a curious thing?
I feel like there's a lot of curious things in that kingdom for what the rumors say.
I would agree. That's one of the reasons that I like it here at sea. Nobody can claim the sea. They can try.
She always claims them, doesn't she?
Oh, why she does. You know very well.
Boris is on the bow of the ship. I'm the king of the sea. Bow before me.
You feel so Mr. Parrish, he kind of chuckles at that. King of the sea. And you feel the ship slightly lurch left and then slightly lurch right as he's up there, as he's kind of just up there playing with you a little bit. King of the sea.
Tina chuckles.
I go back in character and go to bed.
Nina chuckles at that, just actually genuinely laughs.
He runs up on deck just to do that. I'm King of the Sea, and then runs back upstairs.
He had an intuition moment of he heard us and it just came up.
If I claim I'm the king of the sea, nothing can dispute that.
Hey, by the way, while this is happening, Boris, why don't you give me a D100 roll for the reason that you asked me in session 1?
48.
You haven't noticed anything yet.
Okay. At this point, we've been on here long enough. I don't think there is. Sorry to be so cryptic, but also not sorry. So I figured it was a moot point, but you might gotta try.
So...
Don't tell us.
Yeah, and your passive perception sucks. So, yeah, you don't see anything.
yeah, no clue.
I guess while I'm up here with Mr. Parrish, I'm gonna reach into my little cloaks pouch, my cool owlbear cowl, and I'm gonna pull out a little stone. It's a flat stone. It's got a bunch of holes drilled in of different sizes, but it may look very similar to the coordinates that Mr. Parrish has been following. And I'm going to hand it to him and say, this is silly, but this is a thing that I do, my family does, when we come across someone who's been helpful with us, if we found a safe haven. I would like to give you this. You can show it to any druid, and they'll know that you are a man of good company and of good standing.
Would you please describe what it is I'm holding?
It is a small flat riverstone that has intricately
Size?
carved holes in it that look at first like they're just in a weird pattern that don't make much sense, but Mr. Parrish will realize that this is a constellation of the coordinates he's been following for the last like week, the last few days as we go over this course of the week here. And it is it's just simple, but it's a polished stone. The holes are not just jabbed out, but it's like took time to carve them out and change the shapes of them and like put little lines through them to show the constellation of their coordinates.
So as you, and so I'm guessing it's a maybe about palm size.
Yes.
So maybe 3 inches at its longest point, slightly oblong or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
It's like it could be like considered an oblong
Sure.
pendant, like a if you were going to look at a big gaudy pendant about that size, but it would fit in his palm.
Is there a hole for said pendant?
There is definitely a hole at the top that doesn't seem
Part of
similar
the
to the rest
constellation?
that you could it looks like the most northern point or like the head of the constellation, but you could put a string through that to tie it off, or you could just put it in your pocket.
Sure. Well, as you hand it to him, he says, "Well, thank you very much. That's I greatly appreciate it. This is a wonderful thing. These the constellations," and he kind of holds it up and says, "It appears that it may match the sky that we're under right now. What a wonderful thing!" And he pulls out a small cord about 2 feet in length, and he runs it through, ties it off, or and he realizes, and you so he says, maybe you could you attach this in the back for me?
Of course, I might need you to bend just a little. I'm a little short. And
He
she reaches
he
up on her tiptoes to
he,
try
he
to get
doesn't want to
it.
let go of the wheel, so he's that's why he can't really do it very well.
Oh dear. Okay.
So he takes a knee. Well, what he's got there is there's a bench or something to that effect that he motions one of the crewmen to come to bring it over, and so now you've got a crate or a box that's about a foot high.
Perfect. So she'll step onto that. She's not really thinking about it, but like she's not like in between his arms. She's on like basically at his elbow, like reaching out over his shoulders to tie it. And
Mhm.
she's short, so this is pretty intimately close, but she's not paying attention. She's just wrapping it. And there, that should hold. How does it feel?
Ah, that's just perfect. Wonderful, thank you very much. And you notice as you're tying this around his neck, he happens to have a very, very nice gold chain.
Is it like a gold chain that's under his shirt, or is it just?
Well, it's under his doublet, under
Mhm.
his leather top part. But you tying this on there, you can see down his collar, and you can see that it's there.
So I'm just taking a peek at his chest. Got it. So
No, you can
I'm
see
kidding.
down his collar in the back.
Okay.
So that's what you can see.
I'm
If you want to look down the front, you certainly can.
I'm
But that's what
kidding.
you see off your passive perception.
No, she's not that flirty. Let's see. So she looks at it and goes, "Huh? What's this? Is this a necklace?" Or and she'll just kind of reach over and tap it with the back of her finger just to indicate what she's looking at.
He says, "Oh, this thing. Oh, this has been in my family for a very long time, handed down through the generations of time. It was my grandfather's and my great grandfather's, and it's been in my family for as long as we can remember." And he turns to you.
And his heart skips a beat. I know. And this this giant ass owlbear thing with an elf in your face. His heart skips a beat. We got it.
And so he, hold on, I was not ready for this. So this is nice. You threw me off guard, so I have to throw something together very quickly. Give me a moment.
You're welcome.
No, it was very good. And he says, "This is it's a like I said, it's a family heirloom that's been handed down through time."
as you're searching for it,
Oh no, I'm not
um,
searching. I'm creating a handout.
perfect. Okay, as you're creating something, Ina's going to inspect said item and go, "Oh, that's wonderful. My cowl's actually handed down as well. It was my grandfather's grandfather's cowl. It's been in my grandparents passed. They passed it on to my father and him to me.
Your cloak, you mean?
Yes." She holds
Wow.
it out and shows him.
That's a fantastic piece of work there. Where did you where did it originate?
I'm not sure you'd believe me if I told you.
Dearie, I've been on the sea most of my life. I'm twice your age. I
I
guarantee
doubt that.
I promise you I'd believe you. I have seen the manner of things of which a man should not have seen.
Is he human?
Mr. Parrish?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I mean, his assumptions are made, of course, but
Oh, of course, of course. But she goes, okay. Like she just kind of gives him like a smile that says, all right, all right. Well, I don't know if you've heard of it, but the Feywilds is where I'm from originally.
the Feywild, you say? I have heard of Feywilds.
It's a beautiful place. I would say you should visit, but time gets a little screwy there.
I should like to go there, I think.
Well, if you show that stone to a druid, or if you get tired of the sea life, come find me. I'll take you there for a day, which will be 10 days here. Yeah, I'll take you for a day.
Tired of the sea life, you say? I don't
Or
know.
taking a break.
I don't know that that's possible, but I would consider coming to see one of the likes of you. You promised not to leave me astray somewhere, and you can get me back to my ship. Then I will. I would love to come visit the Feywilds. I've heard magical stories.
It is a truly wonderful place. And as long as you stay close, I promise not to let you go astray. She smiles at him. Very genuine, happy smile. And then realizes how close they are and starts to blush. Well, I should probably get back to work.
You can't yet. So now
Okay.
as you have told him the story and you're edging closer and closer and closer, now he says, that's what's on the end of the pendant, on the end of the chain.
Ooh, very nice.
That's
very
very
nice.
shiny. So for the audience at home, it is a pendant. It looks like it's heart-shaped looking. The outside framing is silver. It is a, I
Sorry,
want to
I
say
said gold
opalescent
chain.
blue.
It's on a gold chain. It's on a platinum chain.
It's on a platinum chain. The wire design of what's holding the stone, I believe it is platinum as well. It's intricately
Correct.
done. It looks like someone's pulled a bunch of wire together to shape it into like a kind of like a heart. It's really well polished. The stone looks opalescent blue. And is it swirling or anything, or is it just a flat stone that's really well polished and different shades of blue in it?
I'm glad you asked. As you're looking at it, the closer you get, you notice that it is absolutely swirling. It's it at first glance it seems just to shimmer in the sunlight. However, as the longer you look at it, it starts to move. You'll see that it depicts from what you can tell, it depicts almost another world. You can see almost into the swirling nature of what you can only presume by looking at the night sky to be the cosmos.
Nina is speechless.
It
And
is truly like nothing you have ever seen.
She goes to reach for it, realizes what she's doing, stops, and goes, I'm so sorry, that's so rude. May I?
He holds it out so that you can, and he puts the, it's still around his neck, but he puts it in your hand.
She holds it pretty, reverently in both hands for a moment.
It's warm.
It's warm, okay. Is it warm, from his skin, or warm, warm by itself?
It's warm and cool. And it ebbs, and it flows in pulses of energy.
I'm going to try and cast guidance on it, just to see if it reacts to magic. So my hands light up a little bit with gold, just to see what it does.
He looks at you concerned.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This won't hurt. This is magic to help someone improve what they normally couldn't on their own. And I give it to him as well after a moment, just so he understands and he feels like that warmth of golden light fill his shoulder.
Sure, yeah. All right. He's like, all right, lassie. Do what you will.
Thank you. I turn it over. I'm looking at it. Is it reacting at all to the guidance spell?
So
I don't want to produce flame on this thing, so that's why I'm a little limited what I can do.
As you cast your spell on it, you may see a slight, almost completely indiscernible shimmer change as your spell gets drawn directly into it.
My eyes go a little bit wide, and I say, "You have something very special here. It might be saving the spell I just took and gave it."
Well, now, wouldn't that be a sight?
I don't. Yes, it would, but I suppose if I think this is what it's doing, you could use the spell I just cast on you at a later date.
Interesting. I wouldn't even know where to begin with something like that.
I'm right there with you. This is truly amazing. If you don't mind, don't think I identify. No, I don't. I would say get this checked out by someone who can identify magical items, because that's what you have here, and see what they can tell you about it. But thank you so much for letting me see it. And I carefully lay it back down on his chest.
He puts it back inside of his shirt, and much obliged.
After a beat of moment, realizing how close they are, well, I'm clearly in your space, so I'm going to go. But thank you. This was lovely.
Anytime, Gary, anytime. And he goes back, and he the whole time, even though he turned kind of towards you, right, he's had one hand on the helm the whole time.
I can't even figure out the word. Man of work. I got it.
He's committed.
Appreciate that. Yep, he's committed. There we go. She hops down, flusters her way back to Kirsty and Lucia, and goes, "Oh, well, I feel a little flushed. It's a little humid today, isn't it?" Oh. And that's it for me.
So you brought up identify, and actually, as I've been during that dialogue, I was thinking to myself whether or not Lucian. Would you say that Lucian overheard this conversation, or was part of this, or
he was close enough? Yeah.
I would assume that the three of you are, unless otherwise stated, are together.
Okay. In that case, what Lucian's going to do is, I assume this is like midweek, or I don't really know what's coming up the next bend, but provided that nothing goes wrong the next day, he is going to actually swap out one of his current spells for a spell of Detect Magic. Just like knowing that some of the crew have magical artifacts, I think he's going to go, okay, let me go ahead and, next time he gets a long rest, he's going to swap that out. Just as a handy thing to have. instead of casting spells on potentially magic objects next time.
Yeah.
Right? I had detect magic, but that's why I used the guidance one, and I pointed it to me. So if it like attacked me, it would hit me because I'm an idiot. But I was like, I don't want to throw a produce flame on this. So
Yeah, solid call.
At this point, I would check to see if Boris, if there was anything that you wanted to add or interject.
No, they're the ones doing the research stuff. He's just, staying out of everyone's way. For
Well,
when he
I
does
mean,
get in
you obviously
everyone's
have
way.
plenty of you have plenty of opportunity to interact with the crew, with the you guys. To be in all fairness, so here's what I'll open up. So the other doors that we would see happening, and we talked about this previously, is that you do see the captain about. She does take regular walks around the deck and then goes back to her quarters, and then you'll see her come back out, and she'll be walking alongside of First Mate Wilds, and she'll go talk to Mr. Parrish, and so the two of them are pretty much arm in arm the whole time. They're not actually arm in arm, but they're side by side. So he's clearly her number one. Very rarely do you see her ever out and about without him being within 20 feet of her.
got it.
So they
So I gotta kill him to get close. I mean,
well, I mean, you can always go and talk to her. I mean, she's stern. She's you've been able to ascertain that she's very stern. She's very strict. She's loud. You have observed that she can hold her liquor quite well. And as you note that some of these guys some of the crew have certain aspects of them that may tend to point you that they haven't always been on the up and up.
well, yeah, they're dirty sea dogs.
Well, they're more merchant, right? But they may not have always been that way.
So one thing that I did kind of want to do is how long into this trip are we now? We're like a weekend.
So if we're rewinding, we can be anywhere on that first week. So within the exception of probably the first day. So we're I would say that if in all reality we're probably 3 days in before you guys get comfortable enough to have these open-ended conversations and really feel truly that you can go pretty much anywhere you want to.
Okay. Since I avoid the other group mostly, and I've made friends with the other sailors, I'm gonna try and get a fight club going below deck, and just unleash some fighting skill amongst each of us to, steel hardened steel, kind of thing.
That's not a problem. That actually is something that they do, but they do it above deck.
Oh, that's even better then.
Oh my goodness, Lucy would definitely get in on this.
They have no problem with this. They believe, because there's only so many times you can swab a deck, right? And you need a reason to swab a deck, and every now and then blood, sweat, and tears, right? So you'll see, but it's always cleaned up afterwards, and it's always supervised by both the first mate and the bosun.
Well, then that's perfect then. So if I see them doing that, then I'm going to watch and not get involved at first unless someone calls me out for watching or wants to.
No, this is truly Fight Club, but with the exception that it's probably somewhere between 50 and 3/4 speed. So it's more sparring. They're teaching each other, they're working with each other, and they're also blowing off some steam, right? So being cooped up on a ship, it gets to people. You can only eat so much. You can only watch the sea so much. There's no fishing, really, because you're moving at such a fast pace. Although they try, but to no avail, really. So this is one of the few things. There is a little bit of gambling here and there, but again, it's usually a gentleman's game. Nothing of real worth. They might. Who buys the next grog? Well, the grog is free, so it's really a gentleman's bet. But the tussling, it gets a little heated at times. You'll notice, but for the most part, what happens on deck stays on deck, if you will. So if two people, they have various reasons, and one of the reasons is if they have a little bit of animosity between two of them, they take it up on deck, they smack each other around a little bit, and then when they're done and tired, they shake hands, and it's left there on the deck. So that's how they handle their disputes.
Okay, I'm in. I will start partaking more and more in these as they go on.
You will also notice that there is a little bit of side betting on this, a little bit, right? Because it's not full bore. They'll oftentimes again, gentleman's bet type of thing, where they might bet a silver here or a silver there just for fun, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, now knowing that this is something that's going above board, I think Lucian's going to see this as like a kind of a reminder of his time in training, learning to be a paladin, and he's not going to be interested in the gambling at all. He's just going to get in there and do some fighting. And
no weapons, no armor. It's plain clothes and fisticuffs. Or grappling.
Yeah, I think just for the fun of it, he's going to be like, if anyone's ever looking to blow off steam, he's going to want to get in there. I'm going to say also, if he has the option, if it's like allowed, he would probably fight dirty about it. Like that would be hey, is it cool if we, don't just necessarily box? And if someone's like, yeah, they'd be like, cool, and like kick their legs out or something.
Oh, leg sweeps are fine. That's not dirty in their mind. That's combat
that's
tactics.
technique.
Yeah, that's technique.
Wonderful.
Exactly. Dirty fighting would be eye gouging, groin shots,
throwing stuff in their eyes.
Exactly. That's none of that.
And that would not be. I was going to say, and that's not allowed at all, right?
Right, and those aren't allowed.
Okay.
It's again, you got to remember that the point is that if it gets too intense, you're going to have two great big guys come in and shut it down between the two. So you can do what you need to do, but it really is in the good spirit and the good nature of bolstering crew relations as opposed to breaking them down. It's kind of based on the Native American way of things. In the Native American culture, they created the game that we all know now as basically lacrosse, and so they would take their skirmishes out on the battlefield, if you will, and they left them there. So if you had something to say or something to get off your chest or something to strike up against, that's where it was handled, and presumably that's where it was left. So this is of the same in the same light as that.
Cool.
And remember, your first mate is a half-orc. He's a pretty big guy. Bosun is a large human. One thing I forget to tell you also, that now that you've had interaction with him, you notice that One Eye is also a half-orc. I didn't tell you that before.
I assumed he was human. That's my bad.
Oh, I thought you
it was
did mention that,
not your bad at all.
Sure, I mean,
100% on me. I completely forgot to, because I knew I had two half-orcs on the crew. He was one of them.
Did my notes.
And also, you'll notice you haven't seen much of Mr. Jacobs, as he oftentimes takes his shift in the middle of the night. He relieves Mr. Parrish.
Oh, so he's night crew. Okay.
He does. They do have meetings because he's part of the crew, but he oftentimes will take his sleep shift during the day. And you'll notice you do notice that he's not human either.
Elvish?
Not elvish. I don't know if you. I don't know if you're aware of what he is. He has a bit of a bluish skin, I believe.
Oh, a Genasi? Genasi? I can't say the word.
If your character has ever encountered one, then maybe.
Let's roll a D20 to see if I know.
Sure. We'll do a history check. How about that?
I can give you a good old history check. All right. Not great.
Never seen one of these in your life.
Like, I'm green skin, they're blue skin. I'm like,
Huh,
that's
look at that.
interesting, elf.
But you'll notice, I mean, there are characteristics about him. You notice that he seems to always be sweating, which, okay, or moist, if you will, or damp. But you just attribute that to, being out in the ocean, maybe, or being in the heat. Maybe he's just, doesn't take well to the daytime, and that's why he's the night crew. But yes, he is technically a water genasi.
Okay.
Thus, one of the reasons he's on the ship and is the ship's navigational officer.
Got it. When these two get to spar, and I feel like they're going to do a little rollies for melee combat here in a second.
So you're going to see. Oh, let's finish with what you're doing. So, is there anything else you want to know at this point?
I was going to say once they start fighting, I'm going to make my way over to Captain First Mate and introduce myself to the captain basically, and profusely apologize.
All right.
As Nina does.
So as you start working your way over, Boris and Lucian, you're there. Boris, as you stated, you're just watching. You haven't elected to actively get involved in the sparring part of this, or have you?
If someone wants to take a swing at the king of the sea, then I will definitely get involved. But I don't know this quarter speed bullshit. I go hard.
Well, I mean, they will too, but
right.
They're not looking to kill each other, right? That's the difference. It's sparring, and it's declared as such. You can go hard.
I go Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies. So hopefully someone will pull them off before.
Well,
I go too far.
and they will. There are many. Right. So your crewmates, remember, have befriended you. So you know some of the other crew. You don't know the Dirk, Spivey, and Rise very well, but you do know Hayes, Fog, Mole, and you're starting to get into that other group a little bit now. So, and these guys have been around a while as well. But you're tending to get into know them a little bit. And when you know Spivey and Dirk and Rise, you've had interactions with them.
Right.
So you guys.
But I'm a Gallowman, and we were beaten.
Right.
Beaten and beaten.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no.
There's no ifs, ands, half measure. Until you're told to go halvesies, you're like, there's no halvesies.
And that's fine.
There's no setting phasers to stun. We broke the stun off our blaster pistols a long time ago.
Well, so in Fight Club, right? It's all about, again, hearing those grievances and training each other and having a good time. And at the end, you have to be able to shake each other's hand. So there has to be, even the fact that somebody's going to stand toe to toe to you demands and deserves a level of respect. So the crew is all gathered around, and at this point, you're on that, maybe not on the very inner circle, but you're right there looking over somebody's shoulder. So you're right there in the mix of it. You can feel your blood coursing. You can feel the draw of the crowd, right? There's cheering and they're having a good time. This goes on and off for days and for hours at a time. This particular time, you see Lucian. He is not wearing his armor at this point. Because he hadn't gotten to the point where he went and retrieved it again from one eye. So he steps up, and and so they're kind of going through at this time, instead of just grievances, it's more of a bit of a tournament. And so they've started off, and they're starting to match off a couple of the guys, and you see more and more join in, and then it's a one and done type of thing. He gets beaten, he steps out, he gets beaten. He steps out. And so Lucian steps up for his first fight. And he's fighting one of the crew.
I take interest in this. I want to see how this guy fights. He just grabbed me with my pants down. So I don't know if he can throw.
Lucian, why don't you give me... What's your AC without your armor? Oh, it's going to be 10.
Yeah, it's going to be 10.
It's going to be 10.
However...
Well, no dexterity, but yeah, it's 10.
Yeah, my dexterity bonus is 0.
So basically, you're just like one of these guys.
I will throw out there, I do have a thing. Stone's Endurance. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to reduce by 1d12 plus 3.
That's going to come into your favor. That's
Okay.
going to come into your favor, especially with these guys, because these are hardened seamen. They have been doing this for some of them better part of a decade. So they're tough. Not to mention that they're at sea. I mean, these guys are not. You'd like to have these guys on your side rather than against you. They're not pirates as far as cutthroatish, but they're solid. Why don't you do this for me? Why don't you give me 3 unarmed strikes and or grapples? In other words, athletic rolls, and tell me what you're doing. You're squaring off right now with Hayes. You see him; he kind of cracks his neck back and forth. Puts his you can see he's pugilistic. He's got his hands up where they need to be.
I think Lucian being, again, like a very aloof fellow, it's just kind of like, hey, this is fighting. I know how to do this. This is the thing I used to do. Yeah, absolutely. There was some training in this. So I don't think he does any show. I don't think he cracks his neck. I don't think, like, maybe he stretches a little bit, but he's not a bluster type of fellow. So he's not showboating. He's not showing off his muscles. He just kind of, a little bit of a stretch, squares up, and then as soon as he's able, he's just going to start swinging.
All right. So you're just going for punch, punch, punch.
Yeah, pretty much. Just going in and just he figures that's how it goes. I would say he's probably going to be knowing that he's going up against like hardened seamen, knowing that this is probably going to be. I don't know if he knows if there's. As far as the tournament style goes, does he know if there's going to be multiple matches per day?
They're going until people fall over.
Okay, so with that, I would say he's also probably going a bit more defensive. So instead of just going in like balls to the wall, full aggressive, he's probably, basically trying to punch, but trying to also keep an eye kind of on how things are going, and he's not trying to leave himself. He's not going so aggressive that he's leaving himself exposed.
Sure,
He's going at it kind of in measure.
That 20 and 23 strikes begs to differ on the defensive style, sir.
Yeah, well, the first one's an 8.
That's true.
Yeah, so an 8, 20, and 23. But yeah, that's basically him. Is he's just going in and just being very, I think, methodical about it. You know, almost right. Like, so he was trained as a paladin. So I think quite a lot of it was. There was some trickery. There was some, elements of like being ready for unexpected things. But there's also a very sense of like this being part of training. This is, and part of that would be hitting a punching bag and knowing how to move your arm in just the right way in a very mechanical, trained kind of fashion.
Yeah. All right. Well, on your first strike, you miss, and you get smacked pretty good.
All right. So I see that 18. Should I mark off 3 damage, or we just?
It's bludgeoning. It is what it is. So I'm gonna put the rest of these hidden. Oh, that's a crit.
Okay.
So you do thwack him pretty well. He's going to take. Why don't you roll me damage on your 20? All right. Yeah, you hit. You guys are smacking each other pretty decent.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's not even a roll for me. It's just a 4.
Yeah. On his. So then this guy haymakers you pretty hard. Tags you for. Yeah, he hits you. He hits you for a solid 6. I mean, it rocks you pretty good. And your next one?
It's gonna be another 4. It's not a roll for me.
Oh, that's right. So, yep, I see what you're doing. And he's going to hit you back, and you take another 3. So you guys go back and forth. You guys seem to be pretty evenly matched. I would say that you guys, you tussle back and forth. You rock each other a little bit. You take some hits. There might be a little bit of blood here and there. He grabs hold of you at one point, trips you up and literally grabs your leg and drags you across the deck, and kind of does this leaping maneuver and drives his elbow into your chest, kind of taking the wind out of you a little bit, and then he stands up and he extends his hand. What do you do?
Yeah, I don't think Lucian's a showbutter, right? So
do you accept that he wins, or are you going to continue?
I mean, would you say at this point? I mean,
you're evenly matched.
Like we're pretty evenly matched. I mean, 12 damage. That's bloodied, but as far as that stone's endurance, how are we factoring that into the
factor it
things?
how you'd like. You can use it. You can use it on one of those attacks if you like. You tell.
Yeah, I
you
think it would
decide.
make sense to do. It would make sense to use it on the 6.
Okay.
And that's a reaction, right? So.
That changes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of it too. Is I would presume that you'd be able to use your reactions, which I don't know that you have very many right now.
Well, I mean, it'll negate that 6.
And you could have done that twice.
I think I would just do it on the 6. I don't think I would do it on the 3. Just like if there's a really strong blow coming in.
So I'd say that you put both your arms up, right, crossed across your chest as he's coming in hard. And rather than him rocking you full hard, he thinks he does, but you kind of absorb it with your crossed arms.
Okay, so given that, I would say if I've only gotten essentially 6 points of damage, I mean, I'm still going. So I think he would... Then
describe to me your move.
So with a hand outreached, he's not going to necessarily play this one dirty. He's going to look up. He's going to kind of like nod and then shake his head and help himself up, and then square up again.
So you don't take his hand. All right.
But not in like a rude smack it away kind
of
way.
No. He didn't take it as much. If you take his hand, you're accepting him as the winner.
Right. Yeah, so just shakes his head, takes his time getting up. I assume that he, in not taking the hand, isn't getting hit while he's down again.
No, he backs up. He's ready.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then I think Lucian gets up, squares up again, and they keep going. Or he's going to keep going kind of in the same way, just that methodical, mechanical, this is what I've been trained to do, this is why I've been in this session before, been told how to punch, and just got to keep going at it.
All right. Well, at this point, go ahead and throw your next option. Grapple or punch?
I think he's going to just keep... So, sorry, as far as the opponent he's going up against, about the same size? Or
yeah, he's a regular-sized crewman. You're very similar.
Oh, he's a regular-sized human crewman. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, my...
I mean, he's probably... I'd say probably 6 foot to your, 7 foot, whatever. So
7.5, yeah. Yeah.
So you got to respect this guy. He's held his own against the Goliath. So he's.
Yeah. So I think just got to keep on going for the punches. Another 3, or do you want to do it one at a time, or what's your thought?
Just give me one more.
Okay. Just a 12.
12 damage?
No, sorry, 12 to hit.
Oh, because I see a 14 and a 12.
The
Oh, that's the
14
stone's
was
endurance.
stone's
Never mind.
endurance.
Yep. So then, yeah, you hit him. Show me what you do for
All right.
damage.
It's
That's
just
another
4.
Oh, it's another 4. So,
He just does 4 no matter what. So
Yeah, there's no roll for it. It's just I don't know what it is actually.
Under strength is just 1 plus your strength modifier,
Thank you.
unless you have something that gives you a die roll.
so he's going to try and grapple you. So give me an athletics check. Or Johnny, is that a strength check? If he's trying to defend it.
It's athletics resisted by either athletics or acrobatics.
He got a
And that'll be a
15.
13.
So right now
Ooh.
he has jousted up on top of you. He's climbed up on back, and he has you in a bit of a sleeper hold, if you will. He's got his arm wrapped around your neck, and he's trying to put you out because he realizes that you're bigger.
So let me think what Lucian's going to do in this case. So he snuck around behind, yeah?
Oh, he just leapt right at you and grabbed you while you were punching. He took your hit and used that as momentum to bring him right up on top.
Okay. So knowing the height difference between the two of these, if he has his arm around my neck,
Mm-hmm.
would I be able to lift him up a little bit?
Oh, you're standing. Your reaction, You're standing up, and his feet are not touching the ground.
Oh, excellent. Then I'm going to just fall in his direction and try to land on top of him.
that is so much weight coming down. Oh no.
That is 300 pounds, yes.
So as you're about to do this, your eyes lock eyes with the crossed arms of Mr. Watt.
Do I think I'm doing anything wrong?
No, I'm just letting you know. He is intently looking upon you right now.
Okay. I would say for Lucian, he just completely ignores it. Does not care about anything else that's going on. He's just in it. So yeah, he's got a I think after the grapple, I mean, if Lucian's still up, his plan is just going to be, he was taught a while ago that if someone grabs you around your neck, the best defense is just drop your weight.
All right.
So that's what he's going to try to do. And just, he's a tall boy, so he's going to try to, not even necessarily try to get out of the grapple, just try to land on top of the person who's attached to him.
So what would that be, Johnny? Would that be an unarmed strike for damage?
Yeah, because it's just...
Or would that be a D6 falling damage?
he's not.
I mean, it's
falling
not 10
from,
feet up, yeah.
Yeah, it's not falling from 10 feet.
Yeah, then we just... So
it's also 300 pounds on top of it.
So then do this. Roll me a D4.
Okay. All right. So it didn't show up in
Just tell me what you got.
D20, but that is a 4.
So you land on him. You probably, instead of just falling back, you probably jumped up a little bit to gain a little bit more elevation than you might have expected, because you came down pretty solid on him. Your entire weight comes down. However, he was partially caught by the ring of the crew, because, I mean, you're just that big, and the crew is right there. So he didn't take the full brunt of it, as in, like, you're not going to kill him and crush him. But
Yeah.
by coming down on him with this, it breaks the hold, and all the air leaves him, and he's like, and he's completely out of breath. You roll off, and he's kind of gone a little bit fetal. His eyes are bugged out. Yeah, he's done.
Okay. I think Lucian kind of does a similar thing of he kind of just stands up and offers him a hand.
He can't even grab your hand right now.
Then I think he just kind of looks around and is like, maybe looks around for someone to tell him, like, what to do. Well, I mean, he's been in these fights before, right? So he knows. I think he'll just kind of like, he'll give it a second. He'll wait for his sparring mate to catch their breath. And he'll just kind of like give it a minute, make sure that they're okay. If someone else thinks that help needs to be involved, then he figures then, whoever is normally helping in medical situations will step in. And if no one steps in, then the match is still on, and he'll wait for his partner to catch their breath.
I will say Nina is standing by with a healing word. She's watching this fight like, oh god. Especially when she saw him jump and come down.
The crew, you see a couple of the crew pick him up, and they move him off to the side. They summon after a little bit. They check on him, make sure he's okay, type thing. But as that happens, you kind of see the crew going, "Wow, okay," and they're not really sure what to do, and they look up at Mr. Wild and Mr. Wilds and Mr. Quinn, and they look over at Cookie, who's kind of over there. Like I said, he's partially the medical person on board. They called him up, and he seems to be okay. You pretty much just knocked the wind out of him. He's a little bloodied, maybe, but you don't think there. It doesn't appear to be anything broken. They prop him up against the edge of the ship. They care about him, but they don't really care about him, type thing. They don't really know what to do. They're a bunch of guys out at sea.
He's fine.
Yeah, okay, he'll be fine.
They're looking for some dirt to rub in it. He's still wheezing. It takes him about 10 minutes, and then you see him sit up normally.
Cool. So in that whole combat, Lucian got 6 points of damage, I think, because he blocked the 6 with Stone's Endurance.
Sure.
So now that the fight's concluded, Lucian sees that, this guy gets taken up. He's just got to kind of go, okay, and look to Mr. Walters and kind of like nod his head. And then he's going to just kind of walk out of the circle, and he's going to go ahead and use Lay on Hands on himself to be back at full health.
All right. And so that's kind of the scene, right? It goes back and forth. Some guys go a little bit edgy. Other guys are just looking to air a grievance. There's some shouting. Sometimes some guys are saying, "Hey, you stole my whatever," and the other guys say, "No, I didn't." And it's a variation of things. But you see, this is probably the most extreme of the matches that you've seen. Somebody coming down,
match?
Right? So, somebody coming down on top of somebody like that. It was pretty brutal. But it not necessarily unexpected. Like, Mr. Wiles doesn't come up and reprimand you. Nobody says anything. It's just, you step in the ring, you mess with the bull, what you're gonna get. And eventually, your sparring mate, he comes out of it. He comes up to you and shakes your hand and kind of gingerly holds his ribs as they're probably bruised, and he's walking away. But all in all, it's a good match. It was good.
Excellent.
And he looks at you and he says, I had you.
Yeah, and I think Lucian's going to say, listen, it's a very important thing. If someone grabs you around the neck, just drop. It's a tried and true thing. You'll see all people do all sorts of moves, but that's always the go-to.
So there you go. And that continues on and for a little while longer, and they probably interrupted shortly after a couple matches after that one. Break it apart. Happens again the next day. There's always an opportunity. Or 2 days later,
Yeah, as Nina asked, is Boris going to be fighting at all?
No.
No,
He's
unless someone calls
watching.
him out, that's right.
Boris
If someone
very
wants-
clearly stated that he was observing.
If,
Right,
if,
right.
if someone wants to call me out, then that's their life they're taking into their hands. But other than that, he's just watching because he's seen all of you fight and he knows he will murder somebody because you're all kind of amateur.
He's seen the crew and Lucian fight, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's seen everything.
So there's probably some people that think that he's a coward or that he can't fight, but the reality is none of you are. You're worth fighting to the death eventually, but no one else is worth fighting. No one else would be able to stand to him.
Well, you
least
got to
yeah.
remember.
in his mind.
You got
I
to
was gonna
remember
say-
this crew is like family to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like bickering siblings at worst.
And I was going to say that Nina, knowing what Boris is capable of, at least not, she knows what he can do when someone can't really fight back or won't fight back. she's seen the damage done there. So every time he's like at the edge watching them, she's kind of hovering on the other side. It looks like she's watching the fight, but she's kind of getting ready for like cast a spell, heal word, something like that, in case it goes too far.
You'll also notice that Deckard is almost always watching these altercations as well.
See, when you say stuff like that, I have to remind myself I'm a druid. And I'm not my Monday character.
Now, Deckard, on the other hand, I'll side-eye a whole bunch. to see
Deckard
if
very rarely goes around without a big, cocky smile on his face.
he doesn't get involved ever, right?
No, he's always
okay.
wearing his armor.
If there's anyone I call out, it's Deckard. And it's just tongue-in-cheek. When are we going to get in there?
Are you calling him out?
All the time.
So so what would you say to him?
Oh, just like it. When are we going to get in there? And he probably just takes it like I'm joking around. But, you know, he means it, even though he doesn't sound serious about it. So if Deckard wants to get in there.
I feel like he would make jokes about Deckard's age too, like, what, you're too old to join the boys? Stuff like that, just random things that he would say to him, try and just poke, I feel like he would probably do.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Deckard, he always just chuckles at you. He said basically that when they reach port, and if you want to, because he respects that he's on the clock, right? So he's working always, and his number one obligation, without question, is to Lord Alexander. But he says once we get to port, come find me.
That doesn't have to work for me. Once we get to port, I have other plans. That does not involve me finding you or sticking around. But you're here now. You get to sleep, right? I'll put you to sleep. You'll wake up in 6 hours. Just in time for your next shift. Eh? Eh?
He says, my dear boy. My dear little boy. You don't... that's... If you really want to come and see me, find me in port.
Hey, like I said, I have plans. Right now I'm bored. Right now we can...
Right now I'm working.
Yeah, and then you sleep eventually, right?
Do something with your life and then come talk to me.
Do you never sleep?
Do I
take
need
care
to
of these
sleep?
eggs under your eyes? Well, I don't know. You tell me. Are you up all the time? Do you not sleep? I find that weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
You haven't said yes. You haven't said no.
That's right.
So what is it? You give me an answer.
I've given you my answer. Little boy, if you want to come and see me, come find me at port.
Like I said, I have plans off the ship that does not involve finding you.
Then
But
it's
we're
not
hearing-
important enough.
No, this isn't important. This is fun.
So
Are
is
you
that.
not having fun?
Oh, I'm having fun. But I would have more fun if you'd come visit me.
Yeah, again, I have plans. Maybe one day, when my plans are taken care of, I will come find you. But that could be many years from now, as I do have a lot of plans. But again, right here,
Sounds good.
like,
You
if-
come and
if-
see me when you are ready.
if you're too scared, I understand.
Yeah.
I wink to him.
He just smiled. He's not even worried. You can tell.
Oh, neither am I. Which
Yeah,
is the
you
problem.
guys are cut of the same cloth.
Yeah, you have two alpha males trying to jock for position, and one's only level 2.
And the other one is not.
Right. Well, the other one probably isn't good with his fists, so that's where this would be interesting.
Or maybe
But-
he is.
Or maybe he is. Probably not with that big dumb armor he wears.
But he would have to take it off for the fight. Unless you were fighting for real.
Well, he has big dumb armor.
There you go.
But no, this is Fight Club, so that's what we're looking for. So I will call him out every day the exact same way, and I have no doubt that this will continue to go back and forth with the same conversation.
Yeah, various of a theme.
With minimal divergent.
Yeah. He really, I mean, you can tell there are days that you can tell that he would love to go at it with you. And
those are the days I drive it in even more.
Oh, and he's salivating. But like I said, there's no question he wears Lord Alexander's sigil on the front of his breastplate. There is no question where his loyalty lies. And then there are other days that you poke him, and you can see that he's more into the kind of what you're doing, assessing the crew to see what their capabilities are.
Can I just make a comment real quick in character?
Yeah.
So as this is going on, at some point Nina's gonna lean over to Lucian and kind of out the side of her face whisper in giant. Are they flirting? This looks like flirting.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I feel like Boris doesn't want to be, but will be the little spoon. And I think he'll enjoy it when he gets there.
I don't know. I feel like Deckard's a switch.
Yeah?
Maybe when he's drunk.
I could see that. Everybody needs a little TLC here and there.
Yeah. Should we break this up? I feel like it'd be breaking hearts.
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
never. This.
Okay.
Yeah, let this go. I think Boris will be a lot nicer if this comes to fruition. Actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, get
Okay.
a little tension out, yeah.
You didn't seem upset when you made the Loverboy comment, so maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
No, I would presume that type of conversation in various forms goes back and forth consistently every time this happens. So,
Lucian, who? I'm getting the vapors.
I'm getting the vapors. That was the
just out
best.
of character.
I find it
Cookie, do you have
humorous.
vapors?
I find it humorous
Well,
that he brings up the little spoon, big spoon comment. Nice.
It's a jetpack.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, how big is Boris?
Yeah, how tall is Boris?
He's like 4'6".
Is he just an angry small person?
No, well,
Does he have Napoleon syndrome?
he's 5'11". He's
Stop
it's
it.
slightly
Yeah, Boris is
around
good size.
average. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you for the entertainment.
Deckard is 6'2".
Oh yeah, you're a
So
They can
now-
switch.
So now when you think about it, when Vesper bumped into him and she had to crane her neck just to see him as this big barrel-chested, huge 6'2",
we get it. He's a
plate,
double G in a bra. We got it.
yeah, garbed, guard basically stands up and he's standing towering above her.
Yeah, no, that's terrifying.
I look over to Lucian, like, so why don't you put up or shut up, and we can settle things here. I'm not impressed by anything you've done so far.
Yeah, and Lucian's gonna just kind of say, "Do you mean like you want to spar in the ring?"
You can call it sparring. I'm just going to call it beating your ass. But yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Let me just go and check real quick with the DM to see if I get a long rest between this fight and the last fight.
We can easily say that this is a day later as this goes on continuously, and these jibes have been happening back and forth between Deckard and Boris. So right now, I perceive that every time one of these Fight Club things comes up, Deckard and Boris basically find a pair of crates, and they're probably like up on the poop deck or up on the I forget the name of the other deck, front deck, right? So they're probably just jiving back and forth, or have climbed up halfway up the mast or whatever, and they've found a comfortable place to sit and watch the entertainment while they jibe each other. And so now he's up there, probably about 6 feet above you. Let's say that they found a place to sit, kind of up on the in front of the poop deck railing. Right, there's a ledge there above where it leads into the crew quarters, the captain quarters, and whatnot. The crew is fighting between the two main masts, and Deckard is sitting next to Boris. Boris sitting next to Deckard. They're back and forth, and then all of a sudden. And then Deckard says to Boris, "Well," and then he says, and then Boris calls you out.
Okay, so with that, yeah, Lucian again, very aloof. He's gonna absolutely accept. I will say, as Boris gets closer, he's going to try to, in a whisper, just to Boris, be like, "Do you want me to take a fall on purpose?"
I love Lucian so much.
You're not going to have a choice.
Okay, listen, okay, cool, that's fine. If you change your mind, just make a bird sound, like caw.
What are you talking about? I punch him in the face.
All right.
Are we actively like in the ring and ready to go?
Well, no. Well, so yeah,
no.
If you whispered to him, you have to be.
Okay.
Well, does he have to be? If he came over to me when I called him out and he's like, "Do you want me to take a dive?" And I'm like, "No," and then I punch him. So we don't necessarily need to be in the ring. We're probably not in the ring.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like this might be like on the way to the ring, but I mean, because I wanted that to be like a secret, like just between us. Is that what do you want here?
Well, okay, then as you agree to the scuttle to the bout, Deckard smiles at Boris, gives him an elbow in the ribs, and points at him. Boris hops down, meets you halfway, and as you guys are walking to the ring, that's what happens. So then, Boris, do you swing at him?
Yeah, I swing on him. Do you advantage since he's not expecting it on the first swing?
Yeah. This is this. I'm. You know what? I'm just gonna give him a surprise attack though.
Okay.
So basically,
14.
Yeah, does he hits you?
All right.
7.
Oh
Jesus
man!
Christ!
Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah. So you.
Oh my gosh! You got a D8 on your rolls. Woo!
Yeah. I.
He's
I am
made
all
for
about
this.
Unarmed fighting. Unlike most fighters that use two-handed weapons, I took unarmed fighting as my specialty.
Yep.
So, I'm a ringer, and I sucker punch you. And as hard as as hard as that other guy hit you, I hit you harder, and didn't even look like I swung with half the intensity that he did.
And I was gonna say, with a surprise, do I get a reaction?
Yeah, I'd say there's still a reaction.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, it's just a matter of whether, because he's standing right next to you. It's not like he's obscured view. but he's still sucker punching you, so he lands the punch.
Right. Yeah, I think I shrug it off, eh?
Yeah, you soaked it all up.
So you moved in such a way, you saw enough of it coming that you kind of rolled with it, rolled your shoulder out of the way, and you take the you. It looks like you took the hit, but you kind of just shrug it off completely, like I'm a Goliath. So what? At this point, boys, why don't you let's do it this way.
Ooh, audience, he took out the turn order for initiative.
I was going to say, thank goodness for a 10 on Stone's endurance.
So
No,
on the
that was
screen,
only
go ahead
half
and
the
select
screen.
your token, and you're each there, and just Nina, if you want to be in it, go ahead.
Sure, I'll be in it.
Don't even have a token on there.
Yes, you do.
Oh.
You're the noose.
Oh, I didn't even see it on
What
there.
the heck? Hold on a second. That's weird. How did that all fit there? So what happened? You got a 14. What did you guys each get? Oh, never mind. Hold on. That was really weird. All right, go ahead and re-add yourself. Roll again and just take your first rolls.
Oh, it's so much better though.
It's weird. Why is it?
What is happening?
Just make sure your token's selected. You can move it around, do whatever you need to do. I can add you as well. Hold on.
Okay, I'm a 5. On a good day.
Yeah, and I was a
All right,
14.
go ahead and modify yourselves.
Alright, let's see here.
I don't know why Nina's rolling, but you never know. She clearly
You never know what's gonna
You
happen.
never know. You never know.
I cast fog! Just kidding.
Disengage.
Oh, I could be a bitch. Oh, but I won't. This is not that character yet.
All right,
Okay.
Lucian, you evade, if you will, and absorb the sucker punch. Boris is right there next to you. You guys are dead center in the middle of the ship, and you're surrounded by the crew. You're up. What do you do?
All right. So give us a fair bit of thought, but I think knowing that Boris is a striker, Lucian's this time he's actually going to try to grapple and slam and try to do some sort of like prevent himself from getting punched in the face again. So I think the move here is going to be to essentially tackle Boris.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good move. So as a grapple, that's going to be strength athletics.
Yep.
Hey.
Oh my god! Is that a 20 ID?
So that's a
So,
critical. So
I was going to say, does Boris get a counter roll still, or are we just calling that?
well, actually,
Right.
if he crits, I'm going to say that it kind of just evens out. So, do you have any reaction you can use, Boris, in this? Because he's basically right now what he did in reaction is he slipped you, and he's come around, and he's basically got you by this Goliath has you by the throat.
No, I just eat punches all day, so it's fine. Hit me.
All right. So
Yeah, and then
it's
also
your
using
move.
that weight too. Yeah, so I mean, it's not just gonna be that grapple, but it's gonna be a grapple and trying to like use his weight to slam. I think basically try to slam Boris and
So
try
like
to use his weight
choke
to.
slam, souffle. What are you doing?
So sort of like the last in the last fight, right? That worked out pretty well of him just falling on top of the guy. So I think this is gonna be kind of a a grab and hold him next to his chest, and then just drop his whole 300-pound body just square onto Boris.
Just a belly-to-belly suplex.
Just a belly to just a
You know
flatten him
what?
like a pancake.
As a quiet observer, Nina, would you just for
Mhm.
just because, would you give me a 100 roll?
A 100 roll?
Yeah,
Sure.
D100, please.
I can do that. That's a 53, my good sir.
And give me one more.
Okay. That's a 63, my good sir.
So, as you pick him up, and this comes slamming down because we had two solid above 50s. This part of the deck is where they lower the cargo when they have time down into the hole. They didn't have time to do that, and already two of the latches are that hold this into place normally are no longer secure. And this whole entire floor where you just slammed him onto, hinges and breaks free, and the two of you careen to the deck below, and the rest of the crew comes up to the edge of the deck to see you land on top of the crates and the chairs and the tables down below, and you hear the bosun whistle. You hear people screaming and cheering. There is shock and awe happening right now. What's your
my
damage
God.
on that?
I was gonna say I don't know how we want to do that.
It's
Well,
probably the one, and then his strength bonus, and then we both take whatever falling damage from how far and what we landed on.
Do you take extra falling damage for me falling on top of you?
Well, I'm saying that in all honesty, when you hit that grate, it gave way, and because of the way it rolled, it hinged out of the way. It basically broke what happened. So yes, he takes the 4. We're gonna say he takes the 4 from hitting the ground, but also but then it kind of breaks your hold, and the two of you go crashing down into these crates onto the deck, and you both take falling damage. So if you guys would each roll me, what would we say that? Probably 20. That's probably
So 2d6 damage for both of us.
Yeah, let's see what happens with that. I'll let you guys roll it.
All right. I'll take 7.
Plus your 4.
Plus that. I already took that.
Yep.
I only took 5.
There you go. So now you guys are both prone. You, Boris, you're on your back. Lucian, you're flat on your stomach, but you are both prone. And it's Boris's turn.
I was gonna say, can I still use my movement to get up real quick or not?
Well, technically, yeah, I suppose you could.
Would it?
Well, it's still his turn, right?
Well, we kind of
was taken up by the fall. I would say.
You know what?
That's fair.
I have to
That's
agree.
fair.
I'm going to go with my first ruling. Nope, it's you are prone. It was a beastly move. He took twice as much damage. I'm going to say, yeah, it's Boris's turn.
All right.
Okay.
I grit my teeth standing up, and I just haul up and I just punt and kick him in the head. And if there's a crate there, I try to put his head through the crate because I've got no chill.
So there's the giant 4x4x4 crate, which has the smaller crate that I described earlier on top of it, which is and both of these, however, they're both strapped down by cargo netting and such. Still, there's a chair, probably, that isn't crushed by you guys. You could probably find something
low-standing
quickly.
chair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just kicking him in the head and putting his head through a crate that is next to. Not too concerned with.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
Oh my god.
That's
No.
what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Nat 20.
Nice.
You actually got a die roll on this one too, so.
Yep.
Yeah, boy.
I can't tell if Lucian's mad or Dave or both.
You put me through the ship.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool move, though.
Yeah, sweet.
Pretty cool move.
And just a dirty kick to the dome. That do it. So you're going to end up taking only 8 damage. I rolled low.
Okay.
And as my bonus action, I am going to use Second Wind.
Oh.
Nice
Yeah,
call.
fighters get the second wind.
Nice call.
Good call.
So I get back 10. So I've essentially lost 1. Excellent. All that. And Boris is breathing heavy and just... He's not a barbarian, but he's as enraged as a human can be that isn't a barbarian. Your turn. Or actually, Nina's turn.
It is my turn. All right. I'm kind of up where Mr. Parrish is, like leaning over the rail watching. I just saw him go through the floor, and immediately all the panic in Nina's body just wells to the surface, and is like, "Oh no!" And immediately can I see down into the hole? Like, can I see the ground of the hole anywhere from where I'm standing?
So not from where you're standing. I mean, you can't see down.
Okay.
Not from where you are currently, because you're way up on the poop deck still.
Got
but
it.
if you move, but this is your turn. So if
Yeah.
you want to move, I would say it's going to be difficult terrain for the 10 feet that's right up to the edge. But you could probably, and being that you're part of the crew and everything, you'd be able to weasel your way up there. I think 5, 10. Yeah, you could make it up to the edge of the hole if you wanted to.
Well, can I see the edge of the hole then?
Yeah, you'll be right at the edge if you want to be, or whatever. Yeah, just go ahead. I think you can move straight forward without any problem.
Okay, let me ask it this way: Is the grate that was there? It's hinged at an angle now. Did I hear that correctly?
Nope.
Or is it off completely?
So what happened is, think of on the port side. So on the map, it'd be the south 2 corners broke free. Those were the 2 50+ rolls that you did. So those latches gave way. The hinges are on the top edge. So this whole thing, normally they can pull it aside. It's going to have to be repaired. But this whole thing has basically hinged on itself and has fallen and is hanging from the top 2 connection points, and it's just hanging there.
Okay, this is what I would like to try to do. You tell me if I can. I want to face step, so I am hanging as far down as I can see on that grate. I want to grab the grate in my face step and get as low down as I can. I want to try and lessen my drop down in there. Because I know if Boris has his way, at least from what Nina understands, this will not end with both of them walking out. So can I face step and within my face step go to grab the grate as far down as I can see?
You could probably face step all the way down to the lower deck.
I will face step all the way down to the lower deck then.
I don't see why you couldn't use your movement to get up to the edge and then face step. How far is your face step? 30 feet?
30 feet.
Yeah, it's only 20 feet down, so yeah.
Cool.
That's
so
that's your movement and your action.
Yeah, all Parrish sees is Nina suddenly there, then snap, she is gone. And she is down in the hold with the gentleman, with the 2 men, and is like, shit. And as she sees Boris go to kick his head into the crate, she's going to say... Actually, I guess, I would say when she looks at Boris, does Boris look like he's going for the kill?
So let me back up a step. So when you said when Boris, when you kicked him, so you kicked him into the crate that was there?
Yeah, because we both crashed through a bunch of crates and everything. So with us both down, he's on his stomach and he's trying to push up, obviously, because he's not going to stay down. I get up first, and then I just place
crate?
kick his head.
Which crate do you aim for?
I aim for his head.
So
whatever
give me.
crate
Then you know what? Give me a
is near his
D6.
head.
Give me a D6, and we'll see which one he hits. Because he's a Goliath, so he could easily hit either one. He hits the top one, the smaller one. You basically kick him. You heel kick him, spinning around, and his head goes thrusting into this crate, and the sideboard buckles in. The top pops open partially as he falls, as he teeters backwards out of this bludgeoning blow. So the little crate, is actually partially open.
Okay. I think if I use 10 movement to get to the edge, I'm basically going to stay about 15 feet away, and I'm not going to use my action because this is still a fight between them. I'm basically making sure someone doesn't take it too far at this point.
Mm-hmm. All right,
So that's
so
what I'm
where are you?
I'm down in the hold with them about,
Okay.
I would say 10 to 15 feet away from where they're like going at it.
Okay. You probably could have just run down the stairs and achieved something very similar.
Okay, fine, I'll do that instead. Whatever. I've already called out face steps.
I'm just saying, and save your face step in case you need it. But it's up to you.
I will save my face step in case I need it. Then, oh, great DM.
I'm just saying. I know what I think I understand what you're trying to do, and it could come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lucian, you are up.
Okay. So again, I think Lucian is. I mean, we're in the middle of a fight here, but also Lucian's not.
See, the difference is Boris has been analyzing this for the better part of 3 days.
Well, the other issue too is Lucian's a bit dense sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
But he's not disobedient, right? And I think that falling through into the hold and breaking up a whole bunch of the crates is probably not something he's going to want to engage in for, if he can avoid it. So, I think what he'll do is after he gets up, I think he is, or as he's stumbling about, instead of trying to continue the fight, he is going to try to cast command on, this is obviously no longer in the ring, right? So I think he's going to try to cast command on Boris, which is a wisdom saving throw of 12. Jesus Christ!
That's
What?
20. What do you say as I give you the double middle finger?
Yeah. Flock of
Yeah,
birds.
no shit. Swim.
Fuck you.
Yeah, at this, I think Lucian's just gonna kind of oh shit. And I think he's, I'm trying to think if he wants to run from a fight. He doesn't want to create a ruckus, right? He doesn't want to create a problem. At the same time, you know what? I think he's going to stand his ground because he's also not going to. I don't think retreating from this is going to stop the situation, right? So I think he's just got to. Okay, that was his action. I think he's going to just. Let's see. Melee weapon attack. Yeah. That was his action, so he's just got to square up.
All you can do is move at this point, yeah? Unless you have a reaction that you can use.
They have a reaction to
a bonus
avoid
action,
taking damage, right? The other stuff I was looking at doing would be, lay on hands would be a action. And any type of self-heal would also be an action. And all my smites require it to be a weapon attack. Yeah, I don't think he's going to run, but I don't think he's going to pursue any other type of fighting. He's just going to basically stand there, square up, and get ready to try to absorb the next blow with another Stone's Endurance.
All right. Boris,
You
you're up.
don't have another one, do you?
Yeah, he's got two.
Okay.
I think he's got two, don't you?
I thought that was one per short rest or long rest, but I could be wrong.
What's that?
No, he's got 2 Stones Endurance.
All right.
2 per long rest.
All right. I am going to just keep attacking. I'm going to fake a punch. I'm going to headbutt him.
Now, I would like to remind you You did hear the bosun whistle.
Oh, I didn't hear the bosun whistle.
Boy's in a rage.
So 18
Rather,
to hit.
let me reword. It has been blown.
Yeah, it has been blown.
I've
So-
got an idea if it gets to my turn, so to
Okay.
try and soothe the tides here.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Boris made it very clear that he doesn't stop until his target is
Well,
done.
unless he's commanded otherwise.
He didn't say that.
Yeah, he did.
He was very clear.
Honestly, yeah, if he gets told to stop.
Yeah, I didn't hear the whistle. So
Yeah.
I go to throw a punch, and then I headbutt him. So 18 to hit.
Yeah, that'll... I mean, I'm not armed, so my AC is 10. Okay, that's actually not... Oh, wow. It's just a
Rolled
1.
So that's a
That's
4.
acceptable.
I'm not even going to use my Stone's Endurance on that. I'm just going to take the blow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I'm going to use my bonus action to action surge. And I am going
Fuck.
to...
Oh, come on!
I'm going to uppercut the shit out of him.
That's a hit.
Yeah, the 16 will hit.
Good this time.
And on that one, I'm going to use my Stone's Endurance.
I thought you used it on the 4.
No, he
No,
said he
I
wasn't
specifically
going
said I
to.
was
He said
not
he was
going to
gonna
use one
absorb
for
it.
because I
Okay.
could take that one.
Oh, okay. So you took the 4, and now
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
took
he
the
took the
7.
4.
Okay.
Don't take the 7.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
That's a 10 on the Endurance. But I'm out of Stone's Endurance now,
So
I just looked at
I'm
his
getting
hit points.
worried.
Oh god.
so there was so Boris in retaliation of
Mhm.
this command that because he's still in fight, right? So he sees
Yeah.
Lucian is cheating at this point. So he's coming at him even harder. He comes at him with a double strike, headbutt, nails him, and then he comes in with a huge uppercut that luckily, because of the headbutt, as Lucian's starting to come back and regain his composure, he sees it coming, so he just uses it, and it glances up, and he absorbs that again off of his chest or whatever. And it basically hits him, but doesn't really do anything. Glancing blow. Nina, you're up.
All right. Words that no one would ever think would come out of her mouth as she I'm about 15 feet away, so as she runs towards Boris's back, she goes, "Boris, please!" and goes to touches him on his back to charm him. As she's saying, "The bosun blew the whistle. Please stop." Please roll a wisdom saving throw. You've got to beat 13.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So reason does reach your mind. You do hear her.
Do
And
I
as
have? Is there advantage because I'm in combat?
No, because technically so is everyone else, right? I mean, and she's right
Yeah.
there.
And she's not been hostile to you at this point, right?
And
So I
that
don't know
was
if
your
that
react.
counts.
That was your
No.
that was your.
No, I have advantage. It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage you or your companions are fighting it.
Are you fighting Nina?
She's
You know-
your companion. She's not
Yeah,
mine.
she's a companion.
Yeah, okay.
I still need about
Mhm.
13.
Fair
like
enough.
Yeah.
I'm still probably gonna fail. But
God.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
that when you got my 20
Oh.
against me before. Jesus Christ.
You just failed by
That-
one.
that's a 12.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry
so
for
you are
everyone listening at home. I did not mean to blow out your eardrums.
you're the voice of reason. You tell him what exactly?
My hand's still on his back. It's trembling against his back. She is terrified right now, but she goes, "Boris, the bosun blew the whistle. The fight is done. Please stop. Just stop. No one's trying to hurt you. Just stop." And I'll slowly take my hand away. I'll take a step back and prepare to face step away. I'm sure it worked, but I'm still nervous because this is Boris. And
Alright.
that's my turn.
So I guess at this point, can I tell that Boris is going to, like, what's his stance? Does Boris seem aggressive? Does Boris seem placated?
You haven't given up, and he's still in a fighting stance.
You would see Nina behind him, probably.
Yeah, I'm just thinking with Nina. Oh, sorry, with Nina casting charms, that's not the same as getting you to give up. You're
Right.
calm,
Right.
but you're still in a fight.
Right.
And I did warn him that the bosun has blown the whistle, trying to tell him, like, this is done.
She's my friend. I trust her, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to finish you.
Okay.
So,
Just trying to think from
what is this? What are you using, Nina?
Charm person. So he sees me as an ally for a minute. And I'm using it with the intent to, like, bring him down from his fighter's high.
Right.
Hopefully he hears the reason of, like, the people who the bosun has said stop, you need to stop, please stop. Like, nothing's attacking you, you're not in danger, just settle.
Okay. So in this case, he is charmed, very specifically, until you or your companions
until I do anything
to harm it.
Right. The concern here is that I'm trying to think. So even though Boris has been charmed by Nina, that doesn't mean he's not going to just come over and kill Lucian.
Let me do this then, because I didn't finish all my movement. I was only 50. I'm going to get in front of Boris and just look into his face, she is scared shitless, but she's quivering a little bit, but she's just like, please, stop.
So also, like, where's the rest of the crew at this point?
Not jumping down 20 feet to break their legs.
But if Nina was able to,
if
Nina was able to make it 2 floors down.
Yeah, okay. But so understand that her concern, everyone else's reaction was that of shock and awe, and I said that. So you basically had a free round. So at this point, and in that free round, Nina went downstairs. So at this point, the bosun, the first mate, they are definitely on the stairs, right? So it's their job to break things up. So they are 6 seconds away from being there.
Okay.
However,
all right.
they can see you, and they are always evaluating what's happening.
Okay. In that case, then I think what Lucian's going to do is he is looking pretty hurt. He can't take too many hits. He doesn't want to be aggressive
regards
here.
you as a friendly acquaintance.
I'm not only Nina. So I am going to go ahead and use Lay on Hands and heal myself for 10, and that is going to be the action I'm going to take. So Lucian's going to go ahead and he's going to use his full action, basically to bolster his hit points up a little bit more. And he's going to not attack. He's not going to be aggressive. I think maybe use his movement to slowly try to back out, but he's not just going to turn his back on Boris. So I think that's what he'll do, is he'll heal himself up and kind of back out a bit. Well, shit. Where's Nina at right now?
She's right in front of him, kind of hands hovering in front of his chest. She is trying to keep him from going forward towards you and get his attention on her.
Okay. He's going to trust you in that, and he's going to just basically back away or start moving away. But yeah, that's going to be him. So he'll heal himself up, and he's going to try to back away from the situation, but still staying on the defensive as best he can.
Boris, it's your turn. Unless you're going to move, Lucian.
Yeah, that was the thing, was heal up, try to basically back away a bit.
Okay. You could easily back out of his range.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get away, show he's not hostile.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to exit combat. Yeah, I don't know how much room we have down below. Right.
So if you remember what I said, is that whole bottom deck, there's a hallway that goes all the way down from the bow to the stern.
Okay.
So you could literally go all the way to the bow of the ship.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll spend my whole movement moving away from Boris so that he is not able to strike me on the stern, hopefully.
All right, Boris, you're up.
I watch him run away like a scalded dog, and I look to Nina and smirk. Some champions. I turn my back on her and start walking up the stairs.
Alright. I assume it's my turn then.
Well, I'm going to say that ends combat.
Yeah.
So you were
Unless
free
she
to
punches him in the back.
so you're free to move,
Right.
which she could.
No. What I want to do is I want to go towards those crates. Like, look like I'm checking to see if like something's horribly damaged or there's something I can start mending. But I'm going kind of towards the direction of that crate, and I want to see if I can see what broke out of it or what's opened inside of it. Because I know the boats one is down here, so I just want to pretend like I just want to see it on my peripheral.
Well, they're mostly paying attention. So the first mate goes up to Boris. Puts his hand on his shoulder. Says "good fight," and basically, in a friendly manner, escorts him back up the stairs just to make sure that the fight is broken up. You know, so that. But he's going to take them upstairs in front of the crew. The bosun gathers Lucian and escorts him up the stairs. So basically, everybody's back upstairs.
Except me.
Except you. That's your choice. But there's and then whatever crew members were upstairs, which is most of the crew. I would say maybe Cookie would be the only one downstairs. Or if maybe somebody was not feeling well, like Vesper, she's probably down with Cookie, helping him, to be honest. Which makes perfect sense, right? So they take you up in front of the crew, and in top form, they face you off to each other. And Nina, you're downstairs. Okay. And the expectation is for you guys to shake hands and you know, win or lose. That's tradition as you've observed over the past 3 days.
Oh, I keep walking because no one won and no one lost. It got broken up.
Oh no, so. It was a clear winner.
He didn't relent.
I'm sorry, what?
He didn't relent. He didn't give up. So
I
mean, it's also pretty clear that we got that, like, fighting downstairs and breaking up the cargo is not going to be part of a normal fight ring fight.
It still doesn't matter. Fight is over. Win or lose is irrelevant.
So you're saying, like, this is a tie sort of thing, shake hands.
There's never a winner. They don't fight to win. That was made very clear to you. That's not what this is about. This is grievances aired. And at the end, they always shake hands. That's part of what they do.
Oh, so this isn't the shake hands, I concede defeat. This is the fight's over, good fight.
Correct.
Okay, that's, I think, where we were getting confused.
So before, when Hayes went to offer his hand to Lucian, that basically he was presuming that the fight was over, and that was the end of the fight. It was irrelevant of who won. Lucian decided to cheap shot him and to discontinue the fight, or to continue the fight.
Lucian didn't cheap shot him, though. He got back up and prepared to fight.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. So rather than, so he got up and he squared off. You're right.
Okay.
Right, but Lucian didn't throw any punches after that.
It didn't matter. You continued to fight because Lucian, you threw a fight. You threw a punch. Yes, you did.
I didn't
that's
throw
what
anything
he used.
after we went downstairs.
No, I'm talking about the fight with
first
Hayes.
fight.
Oh, yes, with Hayes, yes.
So we're good on the Hayes part. I think what the confusion was here was, like, the shaking of hands amidst defeat, and that's where we're all got confused. We understand now that it's just the end of the fight, you shake hands, you go your separate ways.
Yeah.
So that's where we got confused.
Okay.
Right, which Lucian would essentially not... I mean, basically, he backed away to be like, hey, we need to stop fighting while we're down here in the cargo hold breaking up shit. But I don't think Lucian sees this as being... I don't think he sees it as him retreating or as anything of that nature. He's just like, okay, we stopped fighting, now we're upstairs, and he just kind of looks at Boris and says, meh, better luck next time. Or maybe we'll finish this next time.
Boris, So even though the crew will probably think less of him, Boris doesn't stop to shake his hand. He doesn't turn back around when it's done. And he just keeps walking because that's his mindset at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get blackballed from the crew, which he may or may not realize or understand or even care. But he walks away from everything at this point.
That tracks. It's in the box, Bruce.
What's that?
I said, what's in the box, Bruce?
All right. You find 3 vials, some sort of potion, or sorry, 4 vials, some sort of potion. It's difficult because I assume you're just looking quickly.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I saw that. I'm wondering if they broke open that small crate I saw before, and if I can
Yes.
peek in that. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so 4 vials.
Yes. You see 4 potions. You see a small silver bird and a scroll case.
Okay. Do the potions look like health potions to me?
They do.
Oh. Can anyone see me?
Not right now.
I take the scroll case
All right.
and I hide that deep in my owlbear hoodie.
All right. You have
And then
the scroll case.
I join. Perfect. And I go upstairs to join everyone else. Like, oh my god, what happened?
All right. So the crew is there. Boris, where do you go?
I just walk across the ship. Like if they're still here, it's probably like, wow, that was a really awesome moment, and now it's just kind of a bunch of sour grapes. So the moment's probably room for everybody. But again, that's not his concern or even insight to realize that. So he's just kind of walking across the ship because he's still heated.
You're even in your heated moment, you even with your passive, you're able to assess exactly what you said.
But assessing it and caring are completely different things, which obviously
Absolutely.
Boris doesn't care. Boris wouldn't care. But at the very least, he definitely notices the vibe changing. But again, doesn't care.
All right. So the rest of the crew, basically, it as you said, it ends. The crew is, they're it's pretty somber mood. They get back to work, and the day continues on and as expected.
I will say at some point Nina will go find Boris. I assume he stayed up top and is just blowing off his steam and being by himself
For the most part.
for the most part. She's gonna go find him and she's gonna stay at least 15 feet away from him. Always have base dip at the ready, but at his back, to his back, to say, "You didn't have to stop. You could have walked around me. So, thank you for not doing that." And that's all she's gonna say to him. She'll wait a sec to see if he responds, but
Boris throws his hand up, kind of dismissing what you say. Like, he ran. He knew he was done.
still thank you. And That's all she'll say. Go away.
I just wave her off as she walks away. Kind of pacing. Kind of want to fight somebody else. Where's Decker? Better yet, where the fuck's Spivey?
Spivey is up in the mast, not coming down for like 3 days.
Deckard's still sitting up on the thing where he was. He hasn't moved. Spivey is with Dirk and Rise there. They're working the riggings right now. Like I said, pretty normal. Everybody gets back to what they need to do. This isn't new to them. They've seen fights go sour, right? It's again, their whole thing is that they are a mobile, moving family. They realize that not everybody is cut from the same cloth. Everybody sees things differently. So, they realize that different strokes, different folks, and they're nothing changes for them to a degree, right?
I will say I go find Lucian and I cure wounds him.
I would say, as Nina is doing this, I look to her and I say, "So, did you know that the mayor of Bluemore just said he was mayor and people were okay with that? Did you know that that's a thing?"
I mean, there was a regent of some sort. Maybe he decided to call himself the mayor. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if no one cares, then no one cares.
Yeah, it's weird. I was talking to our lovely helmsman about it. Strange how politics work in certain parts, eh?
Oh, you have no idea. Yeah. Hopefully they don't run this one out of town. Last one, I think, well, that was 80 years ago. He got run out being chased, tied to a boar. Something about messing with his cousin, sleeping with his cousin, I'm not sure.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they don't run this mayor out after we burn down the town.
That's right, we did that. Oh, dear.
Yeah, it can't look too well for that poor fellow.
Madame Delphine is going to send such a bill. Well, let's go see if Vesper's over her seasickness of today.
Yeah, sounds good. And then Lucian just, we'll carry on.
And with that, I think we wrap up this session of our second Chronicle.
Woo!
Holy moly.
Ooh.
We all found out that Boris can dish out.
He's a brawler.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that unarmed damage. Oof.
I lost 1 hit point that fight. And that's fallen 20 feet.
Good
Yeah.
God.
That comes.
I enjoyed that immensely. I am so glad you did not make that wisdom save. Woo! I was gonna face step away, but I figured he's probably gonna turn on me for touching him, so I need to get moose.
You have something in your mind about Boris, and you have no idea.
Oh no. I don't like that sentence.
Well, like I said, we don't want to give too much away. Save it for our table for D4, I suppose. But we've got next session. We should be getting into combat with the things that are climbing up the side of the ship. So, like I said, I think we end our session here. So, on behalf of myself, David, Kaylee, Johnny, and Kirsty, thank you all very much for joining us. And do join us for Table for D4 as well as our next session.
Remember, dorks are dangerous. Bye!